welcome to Cannabis Tech Talks, your weekly source for news and insights at the intersection of cannabis and technology. Shout out to our title sponsor, Polyscience, for supporting this podcast and helping us bring you the latest developments in this exciting field. This is Patricia Miller, Executive Editor. Joining me today is Miss Rad Reefer, a cannabis content creator and cultivator who kindly agreed to share some of her strategies for conquering social media. Let's dive in. So I'd love to know a little bit of your background. What were you doing before you were sort of drawn to the cannabis space?
So I have a thing with dogs and animals. Before cannabis, I was a dog groomer and a dog walker, and I had like my own mobile dog grooming business. So pretty much just animals all the time.
Love it. And what drew you to cultivation?
So I've always done plants. I had like a little fun internet plant business that I cultivated water lilies and water lotus. And then because in Southern California, everything is our waters get warmer faster than the rest of the US with regards to like ponds and bodies of water. So I was able to get my plants bigger faster than everybody else. And by the time their waters were warm, my plants were big, and I would just bare root ship plants to pond owners.
Smart.
Always plants. Yeah, just always plants, yo. It's my dad's fault.
Yeah, was he into it too?
Plants, yes. Marijuana, no.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I think I was in my early 20s when I finally got my first plant, and I have a tendency to the over analysis paralysis situation where you just learn and learn. I read and learned about how to grow cannabis specifically for like a fucking year before I really allowed myself to experiment with different things and different ways to do it. And once you get one plant, you end up with 500 plants really fast.
So tell me about your business. How do you make money? Do you have a website?
Website is always under construction. So I think really what I did was with cannabis and social media and like marketing and things of that nature, went like 10 years ago when we all kind of like started to step into the Instagram space. There wasn't a lot of there wasn't really like a how to do it or how to go about it, or any kind of like, now today you can Google or YouTube like how to develop your audience, or how there's so much information on how to do it. And I think the way that it really worked for me initially was just taking the mentality of like my 1 billion questions that I didn't know the answers to and spent all that time learning about. They were the same set of questions that everybody has to learn and understand. So it was more of like me just sharing everything that I knew and I learned, and showing up consistently, that allowed for people to connect with me. And I'd been there, how you tell the tale of the mountain you climbed, and it inspires somebody else to climb their own mountain. That's kind of like how I embraced the little lane that I created. And so how we're all trying to be super resourceful with regards to like money and how to earn anything while also doing what you love. And aside from like the traditional, like grow the flowers and sell the flowers, allegedly, there was a whole other realm of teaching people and like webinars and almost, I don't like to say the word consulting, like my jam, but I do like being like a grow mentor to a lot of people. So depending on like the time of year, or if we have a lot of because growing plants and harvesting takes time, so I don't always have a lot of time, but when I do, I'll take on like a handful of people and kind of walk them through growing like week by week and what we're looking at and what we should consider, because it's a long process, and if you fumble, then most gardens start off as an A+, and then as things go on they get down to like B- and C's, and sometimes you can save it and get the A- crop, and sometimes it'll be a C for all of eternity until you harvest. So knowing and seeing what you're looking at, it just helps, and it's all time. Everybody doesn't want to waste their fucking time growing mids, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So just showing up for people, and some people I understand are learning and they don't have consultant hiring money, and that's not the point. It's me being able to connect with them and make sure that my knowledge is anything that I teach you can learn in a book, but it's just like the way that I do the things. So I'm just there to help. That's my biggest thing, is I'm there. So I make my money by also with like social media, affiliates, and I'm really particular about what and who I work with in the space, because there's a lot of companies that don't align with my values. I'm not money oriented. I'm not let's sell them watered down nutrients and make $1 billion, because these guys are paying for things that are overpriced and hella diluted. And so I'm super particular about who I work with. And I think over the last like 10 years, the industry has grown to know that. Also like my tribe, my following, they know that I'm not gonna just talk about things because I'm gonna get 10% when they purchase. It has to make sense and it has to be worth talking about. So affiliate programs with things that make sense. The innovative companies, the companies who care. There's one company that I work with right now regularly, because I absolutely just love everything that they have brought to the table and what they're trying to continue to bring with regards to like keeping the growers in mind and not their like paycheck and back pocket in mind. It makes a difference.
That's good to know. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And do you choose people by like testing out the products for a while before you decide if you're going to talk about them?
So I mean, it also kind of coincides with like a tip, really. It's like there's kind of two ways to go about it if anybody's trying to like become an affiliate for things, and that's like creating an audience and then allowing for promotional aspects to be put in front of your audience, or some of the better ways that I've done it. And I mean, yes, a million people have offered a million products, and please try out this, you'll love this way better than that. And I know why they do it, and it's an aspect of marketing and etc. For me, it's always worked where, because I was initially, I am a grower, like I do go into the hydro store and purchase things, so I'm familiar with a lot of things and how they should react and what they should be doing for my garden. And so me just having like shown love over the years to the products that I was like, all right, this is, yes, that they have in return like like provided me an opportunity to have an affiliate code. Or so really it's just like showing up and standing behind things that you actually believe in. Like you'll never catch certain things on my page because I don't think it works, so I'm not going to be paid to tell them that it works. But yeah, just using the stuff, and it comes with time. Like you got to be able to have used a couple of different things to know what is and isn't gonna, what's the woo woo juice and what's legit.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, so I know with with Instagram, especially as a platform, it's hard to be a cannabis content creator.
Oh,
The bans are real. We've had our
yeah.
own struggles with that. So I know you've got Rad Reefer Company, Miss Rad Reefer. Are they
Mm.
both currently banned? What are your
Um,
struggles with that?
so my main account is Misread Reefer, and I think that got taken down at 214,000 maybe. And it honestly, um, my issues have only arisen in the last like 6 to 8 months. For the most part, like I'm homies with everybody. Like I have a lot of respect for a lot of people, and I'm not like cocky and ego-ish. So it's like
Do you think
I
the
was
bans
a
are like from cannabis content or is it from like beefs with people?
so there's this whole realm. So there's this whole realm with Instagram, and it's not just our industry, but there's an ability to and there are whole groups who you if I don't like you, and now I love you already, by the way, but if I don't like you, or if the next person doesn't like me, you can go and get a contract put out in the sneaky inter realms where bot like bot accounts are created, mass created, like so many,
Hmm.
and they're programmed to follow and report your content regularly, and it only takes one report to stick. It's not a million reports and then suddenly the algorithm's like, oh, there's a million reports on this one, we should take it off. It's depending on how the verbiage in your post, the literal content, because now it's not even like it is nothing to do with cannabis and cannabis being legal in this place and that. It's the like inappropriate advertisement of regulated goods. And so if you're I've never on my page, I've never posted if I have not if knock on wood, when I get my main page back and you scroll, nothing's ever like lots of packs being sold with prices, or you can tell it's not a trap account. It's literally like a girl who gardens everywhere and shares it. So my content has never been about like promoting the product weed wise. Or you can't say things like sale, you can't say discount, you can't say codes, you can't, because you're promoting unregulated goods. If it were like the product itself with like nothing really like standing out that could be fooled into like so the thing about this space, cannabis companies and Instagram, they you can go get a contract for $100. A hacker guy can create 100 bots, and they're just programmed to follow you, follow your stories, and just report everything. And the second that you um, say anything that isn't within their guidelines, because for the most part, if I post 10 things, I'm pretty good that I can get away with only one thing, like, oh, I fucked up, you know what I'm saying? And they took it. And so they took like the post. Sorry, somebody text me. But it's like you have to go and block. Like if you look in your stories on the page that you're talking about with shadow bans and stuff, it could even be another magazine company that would because you're competition at the end of the day. Like the more people that are paying attention to you guys, the less that they're being paid attention to them. So I have to go through and delete like 500. They're fake accounts. You can tell they're fake just because there's no like main photo, like circle. There's no post made. They're all following about 200 to 300 people, because I feel like it's by the same contracted guy who's just programming. And you can no effort. That's the key. There's no effort to these accounts, because the only thing that they're made for is to report you.
Wow.
So you just and I'm I was off the radar. My main account was 10 years old, 220,000. The shadow ban was, I got up to about 150,000, maybe like November of 2020 during like the elections. Something happened online with the cannabis space that everybody got unshadow banned, and everybody's accounts started to build like a year and a half ago. So within like 4 months, I went from like 150,000 to like 210, and then we got all shadow banned again. And so I think with me, it's a hater. It's a specific hater. I have a responsibility in the space where if somebody's doing some fucked shit, I'm gonna fucking say something. So, and I have to say something. So, yeah, I said something, and it was like 150 comment battle back and forth publicly because people need to see. And then 24 hours later, my account was taken. And then it's been taken 10 times in the last 6 months, over and over and over again. I have this hacker friend of mine who gets it back.
Wow.
But he hasn't been able to get this back this time on the 10th time. But knock on wood. So yeah, I think it's just it depends. You can tell if you have beef with somebody or if it's just other people's competition, if you're just constantly being reported. Because the more often you get reported, the more violations that are on your account, whether or not you get it back or not, it becomes like walking on eggshells. So it's like, if I get my account back and any report goes through, then it's gone again within like 20. It's ridiculous, but it affects people like content creators because I have like brand deals where I need to be posting like 8 pieces of content for X amount of money, and I don't have that account anymore.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
what do you do when you realize that you've been banned and you don't know when or if you're going to get it back? Is your strategy immediately to start posting on a backup account, or do you pivot and do a lot more with like other social platforms?
I've always felt the dying urge to jump onto YouTube. Especially so April of 2021, YouTube came out with official like language about how they are more cannabis friendly now than they were before. There was like in 2018, there was a purge on the YouTubes where every cannabis account got taken, and YouTube videos take so much longer to create than a fucking 20-second reel on Instagram. So that's like, I, I have to though consider it now because it's also smart because YouTube is tied directly to Google. Anytime you Google anything, a YouTube video is going to pop off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you can create like a YouTube that's got appropriate SEO for what your audience is trying to learn, then you become like the authoritative figure who pops up when it's Googled and etc. But yeah, pivot to, and also already have a backup account because it's not a matter of if, it's when.
Yeah.
You can't make everybody happy, and all it takes is somebody to not like you and a little bit of crazy for them to go all out war. And you never know how people are, like some people have a lot of time on their fucking hands.
Yeah, that's legit.
So yeah, just start a backup page, especially if you're going to be a business. Always like maybe one post a week or every other day on your stories, like throw in also incentive driven though, like if you're a brand and you are creating content on your main page, nobody really cares if you're like, oh, just please follow my backup page, but if the backup page also serves as like a page where all your guides are regularly dropped or information, then it gives them incentive to like follow up with you, kind of thing.
That's
People
smart.
are incentive driven. Yeah. You got to talk about it though. Nobody's going to go looking for you. You have to constantly remind them that it exists. So, or
And
like,
are there certain platforms you think are more cannabis friendly than others?
the problem with that is everybody's on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like if you go to these other platforms you're always going to want to drive your traffic from Instagram to your YouTube, from Instagram to your web page that has your downloadable guide that you can always collect your fucking emails. Everybody knows that rule number one, like your fucking email list needs to be monstrous because it's a matter of time before, and it's also like direct to consumer when it's emails, you know, and those have to be incentive driven too. I don't want somebody messaging me in my goddamn email all the time if I didn't fucking ask for it. But if you're gonna tell me something,
Yeah.
so
Good point. Good point. So what do you think your followers find the most engaging like about your content? It feels very organic, and I think a lot of people struggle with not wanting everything they create comes off like an ad. And or even if they're being genuine, how to stimulate like that engagement. Do you have a strategy for that?
So I mean, I would suggest knowing your audience. I it, with regards to like creating because when you create your content, you gotta create your content with the person that you're creating for in mind. It doesn't matter. A lot of people, a lot of people are human nature is practically self-centered. So when you go to people's pages, they are a lot of them are just like selfies and things that they're doing in their life, and that's not exactly what you wanted. That's not exact. That's more vanity and vanity metrics versus like creating. You're not going to be able to connect with your audience if you're just constantly posting about yourself. And it's like I know it with a question. So I have like some kind of ADHD maybe, and I do tangents. So we have to rein me in sometimes. With regards to engagement and how you can better engage is really knowing who you're speaking to. Most of my people are dudes who are growers. Second to that is going to be dudes who are interested in chicks. So because I happen to be like a cute chick, then it's natural. Then the rest of them, I'm very like women empowering, and this is such a male dominated scene. It's disgusting, but we got some powerful, mighty motherfucking women out there that are in the space, and as long as we're all like creating, we're scooching over so we have room for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, it's like I know because my audience are dude growers. I got to be in the scene, like in the video, because everyone and their fucking mom has a video of this is the plant and this is what the plant is doing and this is my canopy, but you don't ever get to like connect with the actual grower. Okay. So I also everybody. So I'm kind of silly. I'm pretty ridiculous. I don't give a fuck what people think. If they think I shouldn't do the things, I do it anyway. And I've gotten a lot of, you got to be able to like experiment, like a classy branded business cannabis page isn't going to have like a dancing idiot with blue hair on their social media. But if you've met me in real life, which I spend a lot of time at events and at expos, and it's hard to not see the blue hair. And so I know, it's almost like I know that I'm always not being watched, but on stage essentially, because I'm always approached, and I'm all for the hugs and the high fives and please let's smoke and what you got in that bag, and so I'm super approachable. So these are all things that like translate also over into my content. So it's like, if you saw that blue haired bitch in public, that you can come and high five her because she's cool, so it's like I'm not going to create. I know since most of my audience is growers and males. If my engagement is low, you can always like go back on your insights and kind of see which posts have performed the best and why. And a lot of it because uh, my lane is educating, like teaching these people how to do the things and saving. A lot of this shit took me 3 fucking rounds. That's like 14 months of figuring it out. So let me save you 14 months and just don't do that anymore. So it's like really just teaching everybody everything that I know. And some people are down to pay me for that. And some people are just, so know your audience. Yeah. Long fucking story short, know your audience, find out what works well. If you're not funny and humorous, don't pretend to be funny and humorous, because it's best when you know yourself, and then you're most able to connect with people who like vibe with that. So yeah, know your audience.
I like that. I like that. I mean, I think it's sounds simple when like know your audience, but I appreciate that you explained it the way that you did. Be genuine with yourself, understand why people want to connect with you, and that can help you generate the engagement. I think people understand that.
God, you're so good at wrapping up my long-windedness into a fun package.
That's my job, man.
Shit,
no, but yeah.
teach me.
But people want to hear the explanation, and I think that's they show up, like you said, you're about education. What do you think is next for your brand? Do you have anything that you're excited about on the horizon?
So I think everybody, and me too, partially me too, I think we're all expecting me to have product on the market. I work with some gardens in the legal space in California. I just and I could walk out there right now and purchase a couple jars, and there are people who would allow me to purchase their weed and stick it in the jar and white label it and make some coins. I think partially because I'm not money driven, is why I haven't like gung hoed that, because I'm real great at leaving money on the fucking table. But, so yes, I'm probably gonna come to market with a product flower wise. I've had I have jars and labels and things like that. The space that we're in, I've never talked about it or showed it. If like you've gotten it from me, then it's very difficult because things just move. I don't grow enough. I don't personally grow enough, but I've also haven't tried because there's such a huge culture of like scam. Like if you type in rad reefer like 2 or 3 months ago, there were like 50 scam accounts, and all of them are waiting for an official jar or an official bag so they could take it to their printer and stick whatever they want in their little shiny mylar bags and pretend they got it from me. So I have refrained from allowing myself to be my product to be available like that so openly yet. I think the way that it also has to translate to where I can't just how like celebrities make a brand and they stick weed in it and they sell it and off they go, like that wouldn't translate for me because I'm a fucking grower, like everybody sees my gardens, they see the things. So with time, definitely I'll probably for sure, maybe if I knock on, I just gotta kick my ass. I'm like in a mental slump this last summer, going through like a breakup and all those wah wah shits. But product to market. I another thing, I'm creating a like a downloadable grow course. I spent how like you see all these people, all these like how to market or learn how to, there's just people who are bundling up their knowledge into cute little pre-recorded video courses, and they're offering it to people, and people download it, and then they have it for all of eternity. I would love to do that. I just got to be more organized, maybe. It's like I have all the knowledge and I have all the cards and I know what I'm gonna. And if you saw my desk, you'd be like, "Yeah, she's got the problem off rip with my over analysis paralysis." I keep thinking I need to know more before I offer it. When I fucking teach people, pay me to teach them anyways. It's silly. But a grow course. I'd like to do a grow course. I spent, everybody did projects in quarantine, like COVID and shit, like all these new hobbies. Mine was like learning how to psychologically like sell bundled courses and webinars and funnels and tripwires and learning how to generate lead magnets. I learned how to do all the things, but I never created a thing to like.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, it's like, what is going on? But so really just trying to, I think I'm gonna YouTube, just because it's a matter of time. With social media, you just have to constantly show up. You're always showing up, whether or not you are a hot mess and rolled out of bed and just started talking about your content, or not. So that's probably another reason why so many people connected with me, is because my whole grow career has been an absolute shit show up until the last like year or two. So everyone's seen like me get robbed or like the trials and tribulations. And I had a dog fucking taken from me in a home invasion. And everybody on social media shared his like stolen photos, like a French bulldog puppy. It was crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, I think I just put myself out there and people connect off rip. So I just got to be smart about it. I monetize. I got to learn to monetize is the word. Nobody cares about money.
That part, doesn't come easy. But I appreciate the
all over
how you harken back to, that you can overanalyze something to the point where you get, stuck. And I don't know if this is true, but I feel like sometimes women tend to do that more than men. And I feel like something I heard was this crazy statistic about job applications, right? Like if a woman sees that she doesn't meet 100% of the criteria, she's like, "Oh, forget it. I won't even apply." But dudes, not even half. Not even half. Like what? So if there's anything, that has occurred to me throughout this conversation, is you don't have to have 100%. Do it, girl. Spread your message. People want it.
Thanks. That's so nice. I'm like, oh, she changed my life in that moment.
Are there any takeaways that maybe we didn't touch on? I know we covered a lot of ground. Is there anything, final thoughts you'd like to share?
So, final thoughts is, if you're a brand and you're just stepping into the market, I know you said this was like packaging and retail issue, branding and stuff. So the biggest thing that I can only reiterate through like the expressions on my face is is like, while creating the packaging and how you want to present to your market, how so much cool packaging is out there these days, and unfortunately a lot of the things that happen is, once you get the cool package, what's inside the cool package is not so cool. So it's like kind of like same with you showing up on social media, or my blue hair is like my packaging, you know what I'm saying? But like, everybody likes what's on the inside. And with regards to creating a product for the market in this space at this day and age, and how culture oriented, like so many of us are very apprehensive against like the culture vultures and people who are just like sharking the waters. Like, it's like a rite of passage to be taken advantage of in this space and be stolen from and robbed about, and, lose your business because you didn't sign the right papers, and horror stories out the wazoo. The biggest thing though is if you take pride and, know your audience, and same with like marketing and stuff, like know your was that the market research, like what the industry is kind of sitting at. Like, if you can keep those things in mind beyond just the colors and the scheme of the box and the brand and this and that, the product is what matters the most. And the biggest, most like profound thing that I think that you can do for yourself as like a company who is trying to find their spot on the shelf, because there's a billion fucking companies but only so many spots. And it always comes back down to, if the consumer is buying your product again and again and again. And that's coming from consumer experience with the brand, like the relationship that has been built. And with our specific product being weed and oil and tinctures and these things, consistency. It's absolutely 1,000% about consistency. If I can, so for me, I don't go to dispensaries. I grow weed, but if I go to like a new dispensary to support my homie who opened it or something like that, and I'm going to buy something, marketing and advertising and all these big flashy parties and who am I? Influencer endorsed type things are great and all, but they will never carry you as far as if I were to walk into Vegas's first dispensary that opened up, and I had a really great experience with this brand's name Smoothie for fun's sake. And Smoothie grew a strain called Pebbles, and Pebbles got me lit. Pebbles tasted phenomenal. The literal squish of the bud, because the water content was fabulous at that point. Like, it wasn't on the shelf so long that it just turns to dust. Like you literally have to think about that individual nug and what that nug is going to do, because the next time I fucking go to Vegas in 3 years and I go to the smoothie store and they have Pebbles on the shelf again, I'm buying it for nostalgia. Yeah. Because I've already had like a great experience with that fucking pebbly smoothie that I would never bat an eyelash again to buy it from them again, because they weren't so invested in how pretty the packaging is, but more so in the quality control and the fact that the weed tasted good, it smelled good, it got me high, it did all the things that it was supposed to do, it did all the things that a $60 eighth is promising you, but most often fails to deliver. So you gotta keep that in mind. Consistency through the ages. It's not just like, So if I owned my own weed grow, anyone that I'm involved in, I don't get to make any decisions. So it's like I would have to, if I were to white label, like celebrity white label, and stick their weed in my jar, I'm at the mercy of them. Mm-hmm. They have to have grown it well. Their trimmers have to have. So that's probably another reason why I'm not there yet too, is because I that's like a controlling issue. I like don't want it to go out unless it's perfect, but the people who have experienced my weed, they've experienced perfect weed. So it's like, you just got to be consistent. It's not all about the pretty box. It's what's inside the box. So if you can really hone in on what matters and know who your audience is and know what your audience wants, and that being good weed, or that being, or be a little innovative. Like, a lot of people are trying to push like 36% THC on the boxes. And that's the biggest thing you see, when it's not even about THC. It's about your terpenes and your flavonoids. So if you can like incorporate how much of this, and this, and then consumer education is like, oh, I feel this way with lemonine, I'm going to like this one. So it gives them more power for them to decide to vote for Pedro to begin with.
If you'd like to learn more about emerging cannabis technologies, be sure to like this podcast and subscribe to Cannabis Tech Talks. You can pick up the most recent issue of Cannabis and Tech Today on Barnes & Noble newsstands across the country, or grab a copy for free on canatechtoday.com. This podcast is produced in part by Pretty Easy Podcasts. Visit prettyeasypodcasts.com if you're looking for professional production quality at an affordable rate. Until next time, stay elevated.
Hey, hello, I'm Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong. Wait, you didn't think people would know who I am? Durachill. This is Durachill. This is Durachill. This is Durachill. No, hey, I don't talk like that. You want me to sell this? Buy it. Try Durachill or else. If you want something really nice in your laboratory, buy Durachill. You can't go wrong.
This show was produced by Cannabis Tech Today and Pretty Easy Podcasts. Go to prettyeasypodcast.com now if you're looking to get professional production help on your own podcast at an affordable rate. Pretty Easy Podcasts, making podcasting pretty easy.